Paul has been making us look so good for so many years. He is the founder and the owner of his staging and interior design company. The interior design element is one of the things that I'm really excited about because I think a lot of homeowners are very intimidated about working with a designer because I think so much of what's promoted out there is such a big scale. That's all. And especially, right, somebody's buying a 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo for $500,000. They may not feel like they are at a point where it makes sense to have a design consultation or something like that. And one of the things that I've always loved about you is that you don't come in and say, I'm all or nothing. You're happy to help with the pieces to put it together to be really a great fit.
Sure. The consulting aspect of that from a design standpoint is very important. You have to have someone that you're comfortable with and not someone who is just trying to like put something in their portfolio that they've never done before. Like, how about purple? No, like that's not really what we're going for. For me, it's about making a home for yourself. Like you have to live there. I don't. So you should love it, but I can help certainly steer the ship in the right direction. Tell you what the trends are, not necessarily even trends, more like what I call archival decisions, like a decision that's going to be great today and, 5 years down the road. Like, I don't need you to call me like every 2 years and we change your entire house. You have to make some good decisions that are going to classics, staples, that you can edit down the road. Oh, some new throw pillows or some new artwork, move some stuff around and you have a new house. So that's where you have to make some really good decisions, and having a little guidance never hurt.
I still remember the story of, we have clients that we mutually worked with together. You staged their house and you did interior design for them, where you got them to buy the most fabulous dining room table that I literally walked in and I said, oh my God, where did they come from? And they said, Paul found that for us. Anyways, so let's get a little bit more into 2024. What are we expecting in home design in 2024?
Well, things are, the last year or two, we've been a lot of this California coastal business. Everything's like neutral this and neutral that. Things are starting to kind of, drift away from the neutral. Gray has been king for years and years, but it's kind of, it's run its course. And oddly enough, I hate to say it, but brown is making its way around again. And what you have to understand is say, oh, brown, blah, blah, blah. Well, there's two earth tones out there that really run the show. You have brown, which is a color of dirt, and you have gray, which is a color of rocks. So either dirt or rocks. We've been rocks for a while. We're heading back to dirt. But
we're getting muddy, people. We are getting muddy.
It's time. The biggest thing is we're going back to more of like a white canvas with houses, and then adding color in other places. And I know it's a big one, but like the white cabinet thing, although everyone loves it, does make your kitchens really bright, especially if they're sunk into the room and it's dark in there. The white kitchen really does help, but we're going for some different colors for like cabinetry. We're doing less cabinetry. We're doing more display stuff. Open shelving. So that's a big thing. So don't be afraid of color, but use it powerfully. So it's not like, super in your face, but it can change with the time. So
I like that.
So that's
using color powerfully.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing, right? Let me unpack that and digest that a little bit. Grays aren't out, but they're not the stronger force.
Yeah, don't paint your entire place gray.
The browns and the brownish versions of gray,
yes,
are kind of creeping back. We're getting dirty.
Yep.
Use more of your powerful colors in things that maybe can be a little bit more changed out.
Yes.
Throw pillows, throws, maybe. Would we do an accent wall? Or is that too much?
Well, the accent wall days have sailed. So we really want, if you're going to do an accent wall, you want to do it with like a board and batten or a wallpaper or some treatment instead of paint. Paint really isn't a treatment. Paint is really paint. So we want to do some type of treatment. So it's a little more established. Anyone can paint a wall.
On that note, are wall coverings doing well?
Wall coverings are, back and better than ever. And they're not just for walls anymore. You can do the ceiling instead.
I love a good ceiling detail.
A stairway, like the ceiling of a stairway. If you have like a 2-story, there's so many applications. It's not reserved just for a wall anymore.
Oh, that's fantastic. And I know you also mentioned on the open shelving in kitchen.
Yes.
That's something that terrifies me personally. I am a little too OCD for that, and everything would have to be impeccable. And I just like the ability to shut the door, not with a glass front either. But I have seen quite a bit in terms of the open shelving. Does that mean we're just getting rid of more stuff, or we're hiding it elsewhere?
Well, I mean, you can only cook with so many pans and have so many dishes at one time. So this is really a little bit about editing.
My grandmother just rolled over in her grave.
I know.
Just so you know
I'm
that.
sorry. I'm sorry, Grams. But yes, there's, as long as, if you have a pantry or you have enough, stuff, storage for your regular stuff, that's great. But we really generally have so much stuff in our kitchens that it's, there's space to remove a couple cabinets and we can put the Cheerios in the pantry, make room and put those pretty things out there. Well, people are never going to ooh and ah at your closed cabinet door.
Good point.
Exactly.
Okay, so here's the question, right? Renovations, even design renovations can get very, very expensive. What are some of the favorite ones you like to recommend to people maybe that are trying to be a little bit more cost effective?
You have to decide what is going to get the most bang for your buck. Like I always tell people, if you're renovating, be renovating for the next guy. So make the decisions for yourself that are going to bring in the bucks later. So, make classic decisions. If your trim isn't white, make it white. If your trim is white, maybe it's time for it to become charcoal, do charcoal trim indoors. Like there's different ways of using, those dollars to renovate, to bring it up to date and even step forward. Look ahead a little bit. And that's where you call your decorator, designer and say, hey, I've got, X amount of dollars to spend. Where should I spend it? And then we want to stretch that out so that you're making the right decisions so that you don't have to do it again. Or if you decide to put it on the market, call Amanda, you're ready to do that. I always tell people, any money you put into the home, put it on now so that when you're ready to call and sell, all you have to do is call. You don't have to have her come through and go, you need to do this, you need to light this up, you need to change this, change it out. And the B part of that is lighting. Lighting is the number one, especially condos in the city. I always tell people this is my best secret is if I'm in a condo building of 2, 3, 1,000 condos and I'm going to list, if I have the same light fixtures as every other person in that building, when I go and look at 4 units in that building, they all have the same light fixtures. If you've changed yours and you have new lighting, whose condo am I going to buy? That one. Because it means that you are updating, you're upgrading, and you just stood apart.
No, that's a great tip and a great point, because those are the things that we talk about, right? Smaller scale, changing out knobs, changing out lighting, maybe changing a mirror, adding a backsplash. We talked a little bit about wall coverings. Wall coverings, the price of them has gotten a lot more affordable. You can spend an arm and a leg on wall covering, don't get me wrong. Yes. But there are some more affordable options for that too, just to give that little zhuzh to the property.
So details, the devil is in the details, and that's what makes you stand out, what makes you special. And that's, it ties back to the staging. We bring in details, that's really what gets us noticed from photos to when you get into the property, it always looks better in person
for certain
than I did in the photos.
What is your favorite home furniture store to shop at?
I am a value guy. I am driven by
Midwestern mentality.
Like I am not afraid of a treasure hunt. And so a lot of my furnishings come from either outlet stores or places that are discount. I'm a sale guy. So a lot of my stuff, I grab at Crate and Barrel outlet. So I have beautiful, very expensive furniture that I've picked up because someone ordered it and then said, nope, I don't want it. Sent it back, ends up at the outlet, and then it's in my cart and at my warehouse.
Well, I think that's one of the things that a lot of people don't think about is that the Chicagoland area has some great outlets, Crate and Barrel, Restoration Hardware.
Yes.
What other ones do you shop at?
There's an Ashley one way out in the suburbs. But there's a lot of discount, and then Macy's also has one up in Skokie. So there are, I don't want to give all my secrets away, but
tips, not secrets.
That's the best way. A lot of these places, if you order something online, by the time they take it back and blah, 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 they'll send it to one of these other places and then mark it down because it's cheaper for them to discount it than to send it back to their own warehouse and stuff. So I've got a pretty good thumb on that stuff. And then I'm buying things that I can use in a lot of spaces. Not every piece of furniture works. And, if you're staging a $250,000 condo or a $7 million house, those things don't always match up. So there's quite a range. But the nice thing is there's, between CB2, Crate and Barrel, there's a lot of neat stuff you can get that has good legs that can go contemporary, can go transitional. And that's where we'd like to stay in a range.
Awesome. Well, Paul, I can't thank you enough for being here. I'm so excited to get you in front of everybody because you are such the guy behind the scenes in all that we do. He makes our listings beautiful. He makes everything we do beautiful. And we just loved having you here.
Well, thank you so much. It's been great.